June is Pride Month, a very important tradition that provides a space where people in the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer community can connect. Pride is also about the rich history of the LGBTQ community, which includes both pain and celebration. In the spirit of celebrating Pride, let's talk about the pain and the unique mental health struggles that exist within this community and why. Here's what we know. LGBTQ people experience discrimination, prejudice, and victimization purely based on their sexual orientation and gender identity. These unique stress factors, combined with everyday or universal stressors, disproportionately compromise the mental health and well-being of LGBTQ individuals and families. Chronic stressors for LGBTQ people can take many forms, from seemingly benign jokes to verbal insults, unequal treatment, and, in the most extreme cases, physical and sexual violence. These experiences can occur within the confines of individual relationships, at home, in the workplace, at school, legislatively, at a doctor's office, and even in the mental health field. On that note, did you know that homosexuality used to be categorized as a mental illness? Although the American Psychiatric Association removed homosexuality from their manual of mental disorders entirely by 1987, the impact of this history is far-reaching. There are still many individuals in our society who believe being gay, bisexual, transgender, or gender nonconforming is a mental illness, instead of considering that mental illness in the LGBTQ community is a response to how they are treated. These attitudes are why conversion or reparative therapy, both dangerous and discredited practices aimed at changing an individual's sexual orientation or gender identity, are still performed today. These practices are condemned as ineffective and harmful by the large majority of healthcare organizations. Even as research supports the fact that LGBTQ individuals are at higher risk for significant mental health issues because of these systemic barriers and biases, much of our society is likely not aware of how severe and prevalent this problem is. The facts are that 1 in 3 LGBTQ youth met the criteria for a mental disorder. LGBTQ youth contemplate suicide at 3 times the rate of their peers and attempt it 5 times more often. Suicide rates among trans and gender nonconforming people are as high as 46%. Just about every form of substance abuse occurs at a higher rate in the LGBT community, and 20% of youth experiencing homelessness in the United States identify as LGBTQ, compared to only 10% in the general population. The shame and stigma of being told you're different or wrong is not as buried in history as we would like to believe. And although the LGBT community has made strides in gaining greater civil rights protection and greater acceptance overall, many in the community still live in constant fear that these victories may be rolled back at any given moment. There are also identities, such as trans community members, and especially trans people of color, who need support now more than ever. If you are LGBTQ and struggling with a mental health concern, please know that you are not alone, and that your mental health issues are not because you are LGBTQ. If you are a parent whose child is LGBTQ and struggling with mental health issues, please know that your family is not alone. There is someone out there who can accept you for who you are and help you navigate the challenges that are unique to you and your family. Finding a queer or queer-affirming therapist can help you feel more comfortable in the process. Knowing your therapist is knowledgeable about LGBTQ identities and history also means that you can spend less time educating your therapist on your identity and more time focusing on healing. At Covenant Family Solutions, we have providers who are experienced in caring for LGBTQ individuals. It's perfectly okay to share your personal needs when looking for a new therapist. Your mental health is what matters most. In a world that continues to tell many trans, non-binary, and queer people that they should not exist, having a therapist who understands and affirms your identity can quite literally be life-saving. I encourage you to find yours because your life is important and worth celebrating. Happy Pride.